Hi, I'm Daniel from LSBF. Now today I wanted to share with you a little bit more about the new paper that's coming out known as Strategic Business Leadership SBL. Now for students who are thinking about the module SBL, a major difference between SBL and P1 and P3 is actually the way the answers are written, not so much about the difference in concept, because it is essentially taking some topics from P1, some topics from P3, and then add some new topics into it, and we call that SBL. So the fundamental difference is in P1 and P3, the questions still need students to express the understanding of a conceptual model, then apply the conceptual model into the case. In SBL, it is no longer required. It is entirely practical based. So straight away, you're supposed to apply the conceptual model into the case. So I give you a very simple example, especially for those who have done P1, P3 before, then you can see the difference very, very clearly. Now, assuming in the case study, the board of directors is thinking about expanding to a new overseas location, and they want to expand to the new overseas location with a completely new product. And then you're supposed to discuss the proposed business strategy, evaluate the business strategy as part of your examination requirement. So the question will not ask you to specifically apply any model, just evaluate this strategy. So we can use things that we learned in P3. For example, in P3, there's a concept called ENSOF model. Now, ENSOF model need us to evaluate the combination of two variables. One, product. Second, market. And according to ENSOF, if you launch a new product in a new market, it has the highest risk because there are two levels of uncertainty. Number one, you don't know the market. Number two, it is a new product, you're not familiar with the product yourself. So when you don't know the market and then it is a new product, you don't know how stable the product will be, the quality of the product, and combine these two together, it gives you the highest level of uncertainty, highest risk. Now in P3, the question will ask you to explain ENSOF model, then apply to the case. In SBL, you are just asked to evaluate the business strategy and advise the board. So you have to choose the right model without writing about the model. You must explain until the board can understand without using the term ENSOF model. So you'll be talking about something like this. So you explain to the board, this strategy is very ambitious and it exposes the company to two risks: the unknown problem in the new market and the uncertainty of a new product. Now, you can also talk about how to then manage this. So you can recommend to the board, perhaps the board should adopt one of these recommendations. Number one, you may want to expand to a new market, but use your existing product so that you're only dealing with the uncertainty of the market. You don't know your customer, but you know your product. So the risk will be reduced significantly. Or you want to recommend to the board going to launch a new product in your current market where you know your customer preferences and your customer trusts you. So it's easier for this new product to be accepted, and it then create a track record of the new product, gain experience before you start exporting this new product to a new market. So this is another recommendation the board can consider. Now, you can also talk about the business impact if the risk is not managed properly, and that will be the concept from P1. This kind of risk, expanding to new market with a new product, is called strategic risk. So therefore, strategic risk, if not well managed, can have huge impact to the company. The whole company may die. Now, so you can recommend management of risk in your strategy. For example, you may recommend to the board, why don't we appoint a local agent, let the local agent deal with the customer, So therefore, the local agent understands the customer, so the uncertainty is reduced. Any liability is therefore isolated, the agent will deal with that. Now, all these are using concept from P1 and P3 without explaining the model. That is the major difference between P1, P3 and SBL, exam answer technique. So when you come to class, you still need to learn all this conceptual model first. If not, you have no basis to write your answer. You are just using common sense. So that is not very ideal. But when we practice question, we don't describe the model. There could be multiple models can be used. All you need to do is to select the right one and then write it in a way that I just demonstrated earlier on. Therefore, when you come to SBL, you'll find that for students who don't like memorizing of notes, it is a more interesting module compared to the old P1 and P3. Now, the second changes is the answer presentation are given professional marks. But this is good news for some students who are now working. For example, some answer you need to present in PowerPoint. Now that is extremely good news. Why? Because you don't have to write long answer. You need to write PowerPoint, bullet point, and then write some summary note below. Some of our answer you need to present in form of a chart. Therefore, you'll be plotting chart instead of writing description. So for those students who have experience in doing this kind of presentation, you'll find that the presentation mark is a lot easier to obtain compared to, for example, currently P1, where the examiner asks you to present your answer in a newspaper article, press conference, which is a lot more difficult to write compared to a PowerPoint. So that's when you discover this paper actually could be a lot more interesting to adapt to.